I mean, I will say this. I didn't think he was very good in the red zone yesterday. I thought there were moments he could have run. He didn't. There were moments he forced it to Devontae. I mean, is there anything you saw with Aaron you didn't like?
You know, I think most importantly, when I watched them get the ball after the 2 turnovers, those 2 possessions I felt like was the key possessions to the game and probably the key reasons they didn't win the game. They had to capitalize on that. And then down in the red zone, you just mentioned it. You know, Aaron Rodgers had an opportunity to run that ball into the end zone, and he didn't. And, 5 or 6 years ago, Aaron would instinctively ran that ball into the end zone, and I think this is the play right here. But you got to take advantage of that. You got to feel that. All the defenders sucked down inside on the end routes. You got to take that. That was the game. That was the play of the game right there, and Aaron Rodgers didn't capitalize on it.
You know, Brady, everybody always says what a bad athlete he is, but he was drafted in baseball. He's 6'4.5", 225, never gets hurt. I mean, he's got a pro athlete body, by the way, because you know what it's like. Yeah. He takes a lot of hits. He doesn't get hurt. But there's something, it's amazing. He throws 3 picks in the second half and wins. Just like the value, give me the value beyond Tom throwing the ball that he adds to the Buccaneer franchise.
He just made the whole franchise better from the top down. I think his command, when he walks into a room, when he walks into the building, I think everybody just shuts up and listen. From the owner, to the equipment guy, they respect him. They appreciate his thought. They appreciate his thought process and, what he brings to the game, not just, on the field. And, it's super evident. I think everybody feeds off his energy, and that's invaluable. When you can do that, when you can change the state of a franchise in one season, and this team that was so close last year or was on the brink, on the cusp, you can see the greatness. He just got him over the hump. And, it's a testament to just how cerebral he is, in all facets of the game and, just in life in general.
Yeah. It's Buffalo had been the hottest team in the league. And Kansas City went on a 38-6 run against them. That's like what you do in high school when you're the better team. Yeah, that's hard to do in college. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Michael, did you ever play against a team and you were like a little in awe of their talent? Like you just felt like they got like 11 good players out there. I mean, I watched Kansas City and I'm like, I didn't think anybody in this league could disassemble the Bills like that for 3 hours.
The Philadelphia Eagles, from maybe 2002 to maybe 2006, from Javon Kearse to, just guys all over the place. And, they was just a talented football team on both sides of the ball. Brian Westbrook, and then Donovan was at his height of his career at the pinnacle. I just looked across the field and just knew our chances was going to be slimmer. We was going to have to play picture-perfect football to beat them. And when you talk about playing and making a limited amount of mistakes, it just don't work that way when you're playing against some of the best teams in the league. You have to be clicking on all cylinders, and you got to find ways to win.
Aaron Rodgers has never been a great quarterback when trailing. Mahomes is almost better when trailing. Take me to the mind of quarterbacks. Did you play different leading and trailing? Because I think Mahomes, it's almost like he's set free when he's trailing. It's almost like, they need me to make a big play, and I like making big plays.
Sometimes when you're trailing, the playbook just open up. And, some plays that wouldn't normally be called in certain situations get called. And those are a majority of the time the plays that you really like and anticipate coming in. So when you got a chance to play from behind, it's really no excuse. You just let it go. But I've always liked to have that lead. I always wanted to be comfortable playing, and I always wanted to be in total control. So it's good when you can do it either way. You can play from behind, or you can play with a lead. And once you show your coaches that you can handle both situations and circumstances, then you usually get the green light.
So now Kansas City's going to be missing their 2 best offensive linemen, and I think you would agree between Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, JPP, this is a real pass rush. Are you a little concerned for Kansas City that this is the best defensive front they are going to play in a long time, and they're beat up on the O-line?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned for Kansas City. I mean, when you lose guys, who have been a part of your offensive line in the system all year, it's continuity there. Those guys are gelling. Those guys know each other's field. They got movement. They understand, the pace of play. And, the run game is real. The pass game is real. You got to be clicking on all cylinders, and you got to be, just sound, in your technique. When you lose guys like that, it just throws off the rhythm. So they'll have to replace that in the next 2 weeks. But it's hard replacing offensive linemen in this league.
Yeah. Finally, Matt Stafford is available. Now, he's been injured before. He is kind of expensive. Listen, he doesn't have a signature win of note. If you were like, say, the Colts, would you get your guy in the draft or would you go get Stafford? If you're the Niners, do you stick with Jimmy G or do you go get Stafford? How do I view Stafford, who is now kind of beat up, kind of expensive? And Michael, I got 12 years. I don't see a lot of big wins. Where do you go with Matt?
I think Matt still got some time left. A lot of football to play, a lot of football left in him. It's just, can you, get the best out of Matt Stafford? And, while he's been good for a long time, he needs signature wins. He needs playoff appearances. He needs a playoff win. And I think he just needs structure. Sometimes change is good. And in this case, for Matt, sometimes it's uncomfortable. But the grass could be green on the other side for this guy. I think he just has to take a shot at it, find the right team, find the right structure, find the right coach, and we can get another good 3 or 4 years out of Matt Stafford. And maybe he can compete, at a high level, with the guys like, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, depending on where he end up. So, the future's still bright for him. He just got to land in the right place.
Well, I mean, Detroit is expecting him to be the savior. He can't be. And Matt's expecting them to get their act together in the front office, and they can't be. So to me, it feels like a perfect divorce. Sometimes it's just time to move on. Mike, great seeing you, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, Mike Vick. So coming up, Kansas City is favored by just a field goal. It is a kind of home game in Tampa. It'll be not your typical home game. There'll be fans, though. So there's a Super Bowl where we had a team that looked a lot like Kansas City and a team that was built a lot like Tampa. And that team that looked like Tampa won and upset the team that looked like the Chiefs. I'll give you that Super Bowl. We'll talk about that coming up next. Any credit card can offer cash back, but only Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. It's like getting one of your birthday cards that's shaped like cash, so you already know there's cash inside before opening it. But in this case, it's